The Gators picked up 3 transfers over the last couple of days, and Billy Napier's staff is loaded up with guys who should be able to come in and make impacts for the Gators in 2024. We all know what the 2024 season is going to mean for Billy Napier. It's going to mean everything. So these portal additions need to be hits for the most part. And I'm hopeful that they're going to be. They have done a really, really good job in the transfer portal so far this offseason. Let's talk about the new additions. First up is DJ Douglas. He is a safety from Tulane. So there will be at least one familiar face when Douglas gets to the locker room, and that will be new defensive line coach Gerald Chapman. Chapman was at Tulane with Douglas, so they're definitely going to have a relationship there. That'll probably make the transition a little bit easier. Always nice to recognize somebody in that room for sure. Let's talk a little bit about Douglas' size. He's 6 foot, 205 pounds. 39 tackles last season, 3 interceptions, 2 passes defended. And honestly, he should compete for a starting spot for UF this year. But even if he doesn't earn a starting spot, he will definitely be a part of the depth. He will see major playing time. UF needs DBs. They need help. They really need physical, hard-hitting guys, and that's exactly what they're getting from Douglas. If you've watched any of his film at all, you will see he likes to hit. So it's going to be a really nice pickup piece. And the Gators are going to be young next year in the secondary. So Douglas bringing some experience to that group is also another area where he can really help contribute to the Gators. They're going to need some leadership in that position group, and he can definitely bring that. Douglas was a walk-on at Alabama. Then he transferred to Tulane, where, again, incredibly successful. And now he's at UF. I love that path. He understands somewhat what it takes to be in the SEC. He played for Alabama. He got some great experience coaching-wise from that incredible staff there. Goes to Tulane, applies everything that he learned at Alabama, has a great season, and now is ready to transition back to the SEC. Wants to be a starter or a major contributor. And honestly, given the way that Florida's DB room is at the moment, I think that that's entirely possible. Our next commitment is a big one, figuratively and literally. Offensive lineman Devin Manuel, 6'9", 300 pounds. Offensive tackle from Arkansas. He started the last 4 games of the season, played in 10 total. He was a 3-star out of high school, and he says he chose UF because he believes it's going to help him get developed. He likes the idea that Florida has 2 offensive line coaches. He likes the staff that he's been around, the support staff for the offensive line. He wants to come and be an impact player for Florida. That's exactly what we need on the offensive line. And y'all, you watched that Arkansas game last year. Their offensive line bullied our defensive line a lot of that game. So that kind of makes me excited that he was a part of that. He was a starter in that game. We could use that type of experience on our offensive line. He committed on Friday while he was on a visit to UF, and this is a great job by Coach Napier and his staff. They closed here quickly. They're not letting other visits happen. They wanted to lock this down because offensive line was a major position of need for the Gators. I liked how fast they moved. We haven't seen Napier move that fast on other things in the past, so this was a great step in the right direction. Napier and Coach Sale had recruited him while they were at Louisiana. So there was some familiarity there, and that certainly helped. Napier does seem to like to go after players who he knows a little bit about, both personally and on the field. That played a role in landing Devin Manuel. That's a big help in this situation. He likely projects as a depth piece, but he will get into this rotation. I think it will be a huge help. Florida needs offensive linemen. They need leadership on that line. They need depth, and that's something that Devin Manuel brings to the table. Before we get to our final transfer of the video, let me remind you, hit the subscribe button if you want to show a little support. Our goal is 10,000 subscribers, and we're less than 1,000 away. Help me get there, Gator Nation. All right, the third player that has committed the last couple of days is George Gumbs Jr. He is an edge. Obviously, this is a position of need for the Gators as well, given some recent movement that's happened. 6'4", 242 pounds. He's from Northern Illinois. He committed to Cincinnati and then flipped to Florida. He was a 3-star out of high school. Last season, he had 32 tackles, 6.5 tackles for a loss, 3.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. I like the production. He likely replaces Princely, or at the very least, he's going to have the opportunity to do so. And Florida, those are big shoes to fill. We won't sugarcoat that on this channel. Losing Princely is a loss for the Gators. George Gumbs Jr. could really help soften that blow. Our pass rush last year just wasn't good enough most of last season. And I would really, really like to see it improve this year. I think it has to improve if Florida's overall record is going to improve. Credit the coaching staff for staying on him even after he committed to Cincinnati. That's big, right? We have seen some growth from this coaching staff during this transfer portal period. We've seen them go after guys quickly, aggressively, close things down. We've seen them flip guys from other schools. It seems like they have learned from the past. And listen, Florida did decent in the transfer last year as well. So that's not a knock on Napier. But I think that this season, they're doing even better. They're moving with a little bit more quickness. They're identifying what they want. They're going after it aggressively. And they're landing pieces to the puzzle, guys that they really need so that Florida has a more successful 2024 campaign. I really think that this transfer portal class is going to be very successful. Several other portal targets were on campus this week, and I'm hearing some really good things out of their visits. I think UF did a good job getting these guys on campus quickly, showing them what UF has to offer. I think that they are moving faster, like I said, than they did in previous portal windows. So, I really think that UF is in a good spot here. I think they would love to get another offensive lineman. I think they would love to get another wide receiver. And I think that we could see them get potentially another defensive lineman and potentially another DB. So maybe 4 guys probably that they're looking at for this portal class to close it out. But there's a lot of good names on campus. There's a lot of conversations going on. There's a lot of talent evaluation. I really do think UF is going to land a couple of more guys in the next couple of days. I think these visits are going really well. And that's exactly what Coach Napier needs for this 2024 upcoming season. I have been told that there are a couple announcements coming very soon from these visits. So make sure that you stay locked in with the channel so you don't miss any of the news or the updates. I appreciate y'all for tuning in today. Hope you're having a good weekend, and go Gators.